Okay, so there's going to be a test on Friday, and so on the stuff we've done this half term, I'm going to go through exactly what can come up. So the first thing that could come up, so topic number 1, is constructing triangles. Okay, for this topic, we need a ruler, a protractor, and a pair of compasses. Okay, and you might remember from lessons that there are 3 different types of construction. So the first type was SAS, which stood for side, angle, side. And we listed instructions in our books for that. Then there was ASA, angle, side, angle. And there was some slightly different instructions for that. And then side, side, side. This is the hardest one. That's the one where you need a pair of compasses. Again, we did lots of practice in our books for that. That's topic number 1. Topic number 2. Next thing we did was probability. Okay, we did 2 things. We did working out probabilities, so how likely something was happening. So working out probabilities. So that might be, what's the probability of rolling a 6 on a dice? Well, there's six numbers and there's 1 6, so that'd be 1/6. So probabilities like that, and also estimating probabilities. I think you can remember we did some experiments in class trying to estimate probabilities. The more times we did the experiment, the more accurate our probabilities were. But yeah, those 2 things, probability. The third thing is area and perimeter. An area and perimeter, just working out the area and perimeter of different shapes. So it could be squares, rectangles, or compound shapes, which is just a mixture of squares and rectangles effectively joined together. There was another thing in this chapter where you had to change between millimeters squared, centimeters squared, meters squared, and kilometers squared. So you'd have to go between them. And the only thing I'll remind you of, you just have to do the conversion twice. So millimeters to centimeters, whatever that conversion is, you do it twice. That's in your books. The 4th thing we did was coordinates. Now, this was done in the last week before the school closed. So some of you didn't have much practice on this at all, okay? But it's pretty much along the corridor up the stairs. X coordinate is along the corridor up the stairs for the Y coordinate. And we do negative numbers and positive numbers and everything in between. So coordinates. And the last thing is what we've been doing recently, parallel lines. So that is the corresponding interior and alternate angles. And that's everything that can come up on your test. Now, if you want to practice, look through your textbook or whatever, but there's, if you look in your textbook, constructing triangles is in chapter 12, okay, which starts on page 200, so chapter 12 in the textbook. Probability is chapter 13. Area and perimeter was chapter 14. Coordinates, the one a lot of people missed, was chapter 16. And we've just done parallel lines, chapter 15. Now you're going to submit your answers on this from this test online. So you're going to do your workings in your book, and then there's going to be a way to submit the answers through Teams, and you're going to do that on Friday. Okay, you should spend 35 minutes on the test without any help from anyone, without any help from your book, and then just write your answers in your book and then submit them online. If you have any questions about this, please post a message on Teams.